We're live, buddy.
Yo. Is your music sounding really weird? It's like the tempo just totally changed.
Nah.
It was like,
I think that's your internet.
Might be my internet.
Yeah, mine sounded good.
What happened here?
I don't know. It's your internet.
Man.
Aliens, you know.
It like literally like, you know how like when you slow something down because the battery like,
Whoopsie.
uh-oh, I lost you. I saw your mug of tea and the keyboard.
Sorry.
That's a great hook right there. That there just grabs attention.
Yeah, that was totally unintentional. Let's hope that doesn't happen again.
Oh boy, that was like lucky it didn't end up in the cup.
Well, it's on a it wouldn't have because it's on a arm, so the arm.
Okay, it just went like this though.
Yeah, it went down. So everybody got to see that it is just tea in the cup. It's not anything else, it's just tea. All right, we're talking about thumbnails today.
Yeah, we are. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, we have a hidden agenda with that, though. I'm going to let you guys know.
But wait a second. If you tell them, is it really a hidden agenda?
Like, you know me, I can't. I'm not I cannot be a slimy salesperson. Like, I have to tell them what the whole scoop is.
You're like, we have a hidden agenda, but I'm going to tell you exactly.
Yeah, so it's not the not so hidden agenda. We're pretty excited about this, though. Okay,
it's awesome.
So Joe and I have been doing these channel reviews now for over a year, doing this live, benefiting everybody that's been on and thankfully allowing us to do a review of their channel. The one thing that's consistently been the same thing across the board, almost on every single channel, very rarely do I say, your thumbnails are great.
Yeah.
Their thumbnails are great. So Joe and I had a epiphany one night. We were sitting there talking and saying, you know, there's some people out there that are in different phases and stages of the YouTube game. So they are what would benefit them most, just basically to introduce Joe and I in our expertise and how we coach in a smaller type of course. And of course, there's a million different mini courses. We even have one too. But the real benefit that we think that you guys would get if you didn't want to jump into the big course is to do a thumbnail course. Yep. So Joe and I have been working on that for the last couple of weeks. You want to fill them in a little bit about the thumbnail course there, Joe?
Yeah, let's talk about it. The thing that we look at is that we understand that the coaching is it's an investment and it's by design because we want people that actually want to grow and want to get business and are committed and serious about growing their YouTube channel to get leads. And so we understand that is it's a big investment and a lot of people want to do it and aren't quite ready to do it yet. But we also are really, really big on helping people. This is why we do these live streams, is because we have an ability to look at a channel and to discuss things and really try to help you out of the idea of providing so much value that you want to be a part of what we offer. And what we realized is there's a piece missing that almost every single person needs, and that is thumbnails. And rather than do a whole long course about all the different things and you have to pay all this stuff, we want to jumpstart your channel or kickstart it or whatever. And the way that we've decided to do this is through helping you understand how to make a good thumbnail, because that's the ultimate thing that actually gets you video views. Yep. If you don't have a good thumbnail, you're not going to get views. So you could have the best video in the world, but a thumbnail that performs terribly and not get any views. So what we want to do is we want to teach you the psychology behind the thumbnail, the design principles behind the thumbnail, the best practices, and these things change. So we do this, as we do this, as YouTube changes, we will be updating the course just like we do with our other students, but we're doing it for much less money so that everyone can get on and start increasing their views without having to come up with a bigger investment in the beginning. And so that's what we're doing is for $4.97, we're going to be offering that. But those that watch the live stream each week, we're going to send out a wait list, but each week when we do a live stream, we're going to have a code where you can get that for 50% off. So you really can have a thumbnail course for $297. You gotta scowl on your face there.
Oh, I was looking for the the link.
The wait list.
The link that you had sent me last night for
it's on the website. So you can, if you go to the Real Estate Video Geeks and you click products, it's actually right there.
Yeah. So, well, the only reason I made the scowl is say the, our the coaching call that we did. They Facebook flagged it as spam and it automatic removal.
Again?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. We got to figure out that.
Yep.
Okay. Well, yes. So what we're going to do is, for those that watch on the live stream, fill out the wait list and you will be notified very first when the course is available, and you can go on with the coupon code that we'll give you, or the discount code, whatever you want to call it, and it will be for half off.
Yep.
And we're doing this because, one, we know how important thumbnails are. And then two, we also know that not everyone has a budget right now, or they need to allocate and need a shift. And so we want to help you get a boost into the views of your channel, to help you get more leads, to help you make more money. So then you can spend that money with us. I mean, that's what we want to do, because we want you to have more and more and more. And honestly, I feel like our community is the best out there. And I'm sure everybody says that, but I really, truly feel that way.
I think we're the best.
I do too. I concur.
You concur?
I concur.
I concur. I'm getting the link out now. I was just trying to get Facebook to get off their potty list.
Quit telling us that we're spamming when we're actually helping.
Yeah, like that's so weird. The thing is they have all these new rules when it comes to live streaming on Facebook now. And like you have to have at least 100 subscribers starting on July 1st. They really don't like you live streaming from third-party apps. This is only on Facebook, by the way.
This is why we like YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah. This is exactly why we like YouTube. This is so strange to me, though, because this has happened a couple times.
They did it last week, right?
Yep. And the weird part is that this is for a private group.
Yeah, it's not even going out. It's not even going out to everyone. It's like literally people that have asked to join the group and are part of our Real Estate Geeks program.
Yeah, because we have these Zoom calls and we record them, and then we put them on Facebook, so it's easy for people to access. But it's only those people that are members get to watch it. Yeah,
that's so really strange. Weird. And then it's saying that you're, we might have to put it somewhere else.
Yep.
That's fine by me. Facebook is terrible lately. I mean, you never get notified, and then it's like 4 hours or 8 hours later, it notifies you that someone made a comment.
Yep.
So
$2.97. That's a steal.
That is a steal.
Yeah. Wait a minute. We know that face.
Yes, we do. So one of the things I'm really excited about is, even though the price is heavily discounted, the content will not be. Like, we have the content that we're doing is going to be so much value that if you follow it and if you do what we teach, you'll actually get better views. You could even track it through your analytics, and if you follow the principles that we're teaching you, you will have more views, because you'll be able to understand and learn why people click on certain thumbnails and why they do the things that they do. But we wanted to open it up to a lot more people, so that because we know that everybody's in a different phase of life with money and with all of these things. So we just want to have as much value as possible for people.
It's one of those things that, like, we over delivered. we way over delivered on this. But I was like, Joe even said, that's the whole point. We want to over deliver, because that way when you get into the course, you're going to understand, like,
even that's over delivering.
Yeah, we're over delivering. We never want anybody to ever feel ripped off, because that's the worst freaking feeling in the world. And Joe and I both have taken many real estate related courses from realtors, by the way, from a lot of realtors that, like I've gotten so angry the amount of money that I invested on some of these things. And I was like, that was such a waste of time.
You're like, that's it. That's what it was. And they told me this, and
yeah. And then they're like, well, if you got one thing from this, then you learned something. It was $5,000, Jan. Like, that wasn't worth $5,000.
Yeah. Yep. It's true. But let's get into thumbnails. Since we're talking about that, let's talk a little bit about what does make a good thumbnail. I know we're going to have it all in the course and everything, but since the live stream's all about thumbnails, let's talk about that. What do you think makes a good thumbnail?
This is what I always say makes you win the thumbnail lottery. If your thumbnail can tell the story of what your video is about, and where basically someone could look at that image and already knows what the title is going to be, you've won the thumbnail lottery.
Yep. Meaning you don't have to explain what it is?
Nope. You don't have to explain anything. The best trick that I taught somebody, and everybody always says whenever that clicks in their brain, they're like, that was the best trick ever, is if you're unsure about your thumbnails, the best thing for you to do is to go to somebody that has no idea what the title of your video is and say, hey, look at this image. What do you think this video is about? And if they say something completely off from the topic of what you're talking about, then you need to go back to the drawing board.
Yep. The other thing is, when in the process of making your content, when should you be doing your thumbnail design?
Oh, this is a great question. So back in the day, I used to film a video, and then after I've edited it, took 3 days to edit it, I would upload it, and then I would come up with a title, and then I would come up with a thumbnail. And now that is the exact opposite. I create a title and a thumbnail prior, because if I can't make a good thumbnail for that title, I don't even make the video. And I work on that thumbnail days before I ever film anything.
Say that again. Say that again. I want people to understand what you just said.
Whenever I make a video, before I even think about making a video, I research the title and the thumbnail first. And then if I try to make a thumbnail that it isn't working, and every time I go and make this thumbnail and it just doesn't work, then I don't even make that video. Because if I can't make a good thumbnail that gets people's attention to click on it, to watch it, what's the point? What's the point of making the video if no one's going to watch it, because you can't make a good image to make people click. So yeah, I learned that the hard way, because I made plenty of videos that were really cute, but nobody watched them because I had terrible thumbnails and terrible titles. The other thing is that simplifying thumbnails, I learned along the way too. That's a difficult one to figure out. And
because you're always trying to tell the story, and you want people to know what your thumbnail is, but then it's really hard to do it in a design way rather than having a bunch of words on the thumbnail.
Right. And that was a hard pill to swallow. Like I was like, well, how are of course you're gonna have to, they're not gonna read the title. A lot of people just look at the thumbnail. Mm-hmm. So you have to put the title on the thumbnail. I used to do that. I did that years ago too. That was a wrong thing. Let me just tell you all the wrong things I did making thumbnails. And that way, years ago, I had what they call branding coach. This is the whole reason why I even have a YouTube channel at all, because they were talking about specific branding. And during this coaching session, I came up with my branding colors, my branding theme, my branding, who I was as a brand. And then I had a template that I was going to use for all my thumbnails. So This was like back in the day, like
Yeah,
everybody
because
had.
they were thinking like repetition, like
Yes,
it's awareness, like it's
right.
like your logo. They got to see it 10 times before when they need you, they call you.
That was the other one too. So I had a specific brand of thumbnail that I always used. It had these colors, always used my colors, which were this baby blue, hot pink, and black. I always used those. And I used to put my logo on all my thumbnails too. Those two things, big giant mistake. Neither one of them, like, but they were like, from what this branding coach's perspective is that people would see that brand and they would always click on it and know that it comes from you.
Yep.
That's not really necessarily how YouTube works. That's kind of like other social media brands. That's just not how YouTube works. So I learned that I'm not doing that. The other thing is that I just didn't know how to make an image clear. Like
Yeah.
I was like, how are these people making their images? Like you could see the pores in their face, like how are they so incredibly clear? And then the other thing too is the sizing of my personal image on the thumbnail. So when I first started off, I did the whole like arms folded, and then that branding coach, that was one thing she did say that was pretty smart. She said, "Why do you have this picture of you like this?" I'm like, "I don't know. I just got a bunch of professional pictures taken." She's like, "That is the most unwelcoming, uninviting pose that you could give to a customer, is to have your arms folded and your hands in underneath, meaning that you don't even want to touch them." I'm like, "Oh." And she was like, "Yeah, that's a very uninviting pose.
That's true.
Don't ever put that on your branding." And I was like, "Oh, okay, thank you." That was the $500. That was my $500 piece of
That's what you
advice.
got out of it. That
That's
was
what
the
I got
one.
out of
That
it.
was the one thing.
The one thing, at least it wasn't $5,000.
Right.
Um, but those are all things that you and I to this day still see on thumbnails.
Right.
We still
Because
see
they're
that.
still getting told that same stuff. And the
Correct.
and the thing is that yes, for other traditional types of advertising and other ways of doing things, yes, that stuff can help. But YouTube is totally different. And most people, it's not a blanket like marketing package where you're like, hey, just roll it out and do the same thing to everybody. You have to really understand who your audience is, and you want to know like what's the point of it. And it's like watching a video or going onto Netflix. My brother does this a lot. He'll say he won't even watch a movie. He'll sit there and he'll scroll
Look at the
until
thumbnails.
he gets to like something that catches his eye with the thumbnails.
Yeah.
So it's about, I obviously don't do that. Yeah, he does that. But like I'm like, I want to watch the movie. But like the thing is that he's looking at like the behavior, right? Of like
Mhm.
why is it that this makes me want to click it? And that's what you have to think about. Sandra asks a question that says, what's a good percentage
Oh,
or
I'll tell her.
click-through rate for real estate? I was told 3 to 4%.
It's a lot higher than that.
Yeah, you're also probably told that it's okay to have your arms folded and to have like a
Yeah.
template and all this other stuff.
Sandra, like when I release a video, when I first release it, it's like 22, 23%
Yep.
when I release it. And then it settles at 7.8%.
And really your goal is to get it as high as possible. Like if you
Right.
can, like the higher the better. And obviously that number is going to go down the more
Mhm.
views you get.
Right.
But the higher that you can get that, the better your video will do. So
Mr. Beast starts off, I think it says at 95%.
it's super high. And he's so recognizable now because of that.
Right. And
So
he's hyper freaks out over thumbnails.
yep.
And that was one of the things I learned from Mr. Beast when it comes to thumbnails. Whenever he does a thumbnail, first of all, he has probably 12 different versions, but if at glance you probably wouldn't even notice what the difference was between those 12 versions.
But to
Like
him, he knows.
he knows, right? So then when you study them, then you realize, and he's so hyper aware, like, is he looking off from the camera too
Is his
much?
eye squinted a little too much? Is it too wide?
Right.
Is there too much white?
Like he figured out with his mouth open, like, because he used to
Yeah.
do this,
And
like that. And then
he
when he
has
when he took that off, when he stopped doing that, then he got a higher click-through rate, you know?
And the
As soon as
thing
he was closing
is
up.
yeah, the thing is it wasn't necessarily the US, but he has a worldwide audience, and it
Correct.
was outside of the US that actually that's like a turnoff if your mouth's open.
Mhm.
So,
Exactly. And then he had a one where, it was the size of his actual face. The
mhm,
first one he was too small, and so they just kept making him bigger, 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 and it was like the top of his head was actually cut off. That's how I mean it literally took up his head literally took up one third of the thumbnail, and it made the sense. It made so much more sense when he was grabbing the McDonald's bag that was really small from his hand, and then pulling it into the
mhm.
car. That thumbnail literally told the whole entire story of what the video was about. With all he had was one little number at the top. That
Yeah,
was it.
no words anywhere.
Nope, nope.
And
He's a thumbnail genius, really,
yeah,
honestly.
and that's the thing is like I think people, especially in our industry, we feel like we have to word vomit on everything because we got to give the descriptions, we got to give all of this stuff to make it sound so good. And you said something,
Professional.
yeah, you said something at the very beginning that's really true, which is you had to uh, simplify, and it was a lot harder. And it really is the
Oh, yeah.
simpler your thumbnail, the longer it's going to take you to get it right. And we have students that they'll put stuff in there and we'll go through it and you'll see their first variation and then it'll go through until the very end. And you're like, man, that was a lot of effort. But then when you see the video go and it pops off, it's
Mhm.
like it was totally worth the effort because one, if you're going to make a video, you better have a thumbnail that's clickable or you just wasted all that time producing the video.
Yep.
So,
I'm gonna show him some of my thumbnails, like,
yeah.
to show how to like, how I simplified it. Um, so do 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 do. Here's this crazy lady. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to my oldest videos. This is when I first started doing YouTube. Had no idea what I was doing. I just made a little image. Went on a few live streams. They're like, you need to work on your thumbnails." I'm like, "They don't understand my niche," which I
Yeah.
was like
You
so
you take
resistant.
offense to it because you're like, "I know what I'm doing."
I know what I'm doing. I'm going to show you when I took the branding coach stuff. Right here. You see this? Whoop.
Yep.
There's my brand. That was it. I did all of these. Um,
Now you got your
see?
pink in there.
Yeah. Like, oh, I pink vomited all over these thumbnails. Like, but they were simple. I will say that they were simple, but
Well,
they
you can
really,
see the progression from even
yeah.
from right there all the way back to the first, like, you at least got words bigger, easier to see rather than, like, scripty font and
Uh-huh.
stuff.
Yeah, this was
So
my original font, that, like, weird. I don't even know
mhm.
why I did that. I wanted to be different. I just had to be different. But, I mean, like, some of these have been changed over time, like, this one was changed over time. Um, but they get better-ish, like,
Yep.
it takes time and practice. Um, like, I was always really proud of this one when I did this one, and it got 54,000 views when I did that one.
Yeah.
Next door one, but it was very simple. Obviously, it's green is good, red is bad.
Yep.
Everybody hates the next door, and there was no videos about it. That's why I did it. This was one of my favorite ones. It still didn't do well, but I loved this thumbnail. The Zip It.
Yeah. That's a
That
cool graphic.
I know. I know. I paid for that graphic too because I was like, "Ooh, this video is gonna take off," but I didn't know who I was making videos for then, or
Right.
it was the wrong avatar, and like slowly over time, I started getting better. I'll tell you exactly when I met Mister Mister Daryl Eves, and that was, hold on, right here, buying a mobile home, right here, 4 years ago. 5 facts you must know when buying a mobile home. That was it. That was it.
Yep.
And that was the video that really propelled me to understand who my avatar was. Yep. I was very proud of myself. That was my last listing video I ever did too. But these progressively got better and more simplified. More simplified. Like
Because
you couldn't get more simple than this.
yeah, because you understood at that point who you're making content for, and you
Mhm.
knew what it was. You were getting better at telling the story without having to have all of the words and all of the things on there. And you used the thumbnail to grab attention and
Mhm.
everything, and then the title to really drive it home, because that's what a lot of people do. You'll stop scrolling because of a thumbnail. You see the thumbnail, and then the title is the thing that just, that hopefully, if you've done it right, will actually get them to want to then click on the video.
Yep. Correcto mundo. Correcto mundo.
Look at those. Like, yeah. So, and the thing is that like anyone can do thumbnail design with the different programs out there now. Like, you can do it pretty easily. And there's so many different programs that, there's very little, like the learning curve is pretty easy compared to what it was, 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh,
It's so much easier now.
back in the day when I first started, those images like these, where you have your image with the background cut out of it,
Hmm.
I used to painstakingly, pixel by pixel, cut my image out,
Yep.
hair by hair, like, because the hair that flies away, I
Yep,
would
you had
sit
to
there
do
and do
one
that.
of those little things.
Yep, and that now all you have to do is hit remove
You
background and it's
click a
all there.
button and it's done, because you
It's
got
done.
generative AI that helps read it. It's
Yep, yep,
amazing.
yep. So once I learned how to simplify thumbnails, then my channel did so much better. So much better.
Yep.
Yay! Oh, I didn't even know that. This video has 3 million views. I didn't even know that.
That's awesome. And
Yeah.
look, you're in the window.
Yeah, that is me in the window. That is true. My kid told me to do that. Oh, that's another thing too. Don't be afraid to ask your kids because they like simplified images,
Yeah.
right?
And they know what's clickable, because
Mhm.
they're probably on the platform a lot more than we are.
Yes, exactly. And so I made that thumbnail and it was done as far as I'm concerned. And my kid said, "Hey, you should have somebody hanging out the window." I'm like, "Well, I don't know how to do that." She's like, "Just cut yourself out, make yourself really thin." So I did it and I brought it to her. She's like, "Yeah, that's perfect."
Yeah, that's awesome.
And you know what's so funny is that somebody made a TikTok and they used my thumbnail in their TikTok. And I'm like, I didn't even know about it. Somebody mentioned it to me, and so I went on the TikTok. And I'm like, "Oh, thanks for using my YouTube thumbnail in your video."
Mhm. They're like, "It was great."
Yeah, it was funny. It was just funny. So,
Yeah, I think that's really like something awesome as well, is like some people get really upset if someone uses part of your thumbnail or your idea and everything. And like, one thing to like understand is that everybody gets ideas from everyone. No one has an original thought, and if they say so, like, I don't believe them. Like, you've got it from somebody.
and not only that, like this is how much like I consider myself a pretty successful YouTuber on YouTube when it comes through the real estate niche, right? And you would think that I would feel, competition from all these other creators that are on the platform. And do you know that to this day, from day one to now, that anybody calls me up or asks me or inbox me and says, "Hey, how did you make that real estate bubble?" Or "How did you do this?" Or "What did you do here?" I literally give them the assets that I used to either make the real estate bubble or they liked the house. I give it to them. I do not care. Their audience is not my audience.
Right.
And if they happen to make a more successful video than I did on the same exact topic, all that is to me is a way for me to learn about
Yeah, what did they do, and
what
how
did they
can
do.
yeah, what can you incorporate? That's
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the saddest thing, I think, is that instead of looking at as competition with everybody, it's collaborators and future collaborators. Think about this, of like how much easier it is when you have that. How many people actually feel more confident to reach out to you, and then they're like, "Oh my gosh, like I want to work with her, because you gave," right? Like, that's the thing, is, and not expecting anything in return.
No,
Like, all that
I'm not a
does,
scorekeeper.
yeah, all that does is like raise up the quality of everybody. It doesn't
Mhm.
take anything away from you to help someone else, or to give something to someone that you developed, and it's like, "Oh, it's mine, and I've got to keep it secret, or I can't tell my Google juice, whatever. I have to always use that now. I think it's the
Oh,
funniest thing.
oh, I know, because years ago, it's been 2 years now. There was a person that was selling geotagging to thumbnails, and I'm going to tell you this right now. This is literal snake oil salesman
Yeah,
garbage,
don't buy it.
right? Do not buy this. But basically, what they were saying is that you geotag your thumbnails so it makes it more discoverable for YouTube to recommend the right audience because you geotagged your thumbnails. That is literal horse crap. That is like, it's comical. And when I saw it, I couldn't stop laughing. And then I'm like, maybe I'm wrong, right? So I went to the guru, as far as I'm concerned, the godfather of YouTube education. I went to Daryl and I said, Daryl, this is going to sound like a really stupid question. I just have to ask this because I just saw this across my newsfeed, and I wanted to ask you, and I told him the whole thing, even down to the Google Juice part. And he is like, Google Juice? I said, yeah, that's what it said in the advertising. He's like, wow. He's like, no. He's like, if there is any hack that has ever been created or found, he's like, I've already done it 1,000 times. And the only way, the best hack ever that you'll never have to do anything else is to make really good content.
Yep.
And that good content includes a very good thumbnail. A very good thumbnail. If you can make a very good thumbnail, that is literally the opening of the door. Like, you've opened the door. It's just the same reason why rag magazines put on the most sensational image,
Yep.
and use those really powerful words like top secret, exposed, and all these things. That's why they
Liar.
Liars. Exactly. That's why they put those on the covers of their magazines, because that's what people pick up to read and purchase them. If it didn't work, nobody would do it.
They wouldn't do it.
They wouldn't do it.
And they've spent hundreds of millions of dollars in marketing, and test groups and all this stuff. Mm-hmm. So why can't we learn from them and do the things like from them? And that goes off to the other thing, is there's some people that say, well, I don't understand, this thumbnail's garbage and it has so many views and my thumbnail is so much better. Why is it not getting more views? And honestly, you have to remember who you're making the audience for. So it's not about if you like the thumbnail, it's about if your viewer likes the thumbnail. And
I have a thumbnail on my channel right now that I honestly think is the ugliest thing I have ever seen in my life. It doesn't even have a skyline. It's all white with this floating house. It looks hideous. And I did a test on it, right? And that was the one that won. I was totally shocked. So mad because I thought it was so ugly, but it doesn't matter what I like.
Yeah. It's not for you though, right? It's your viewer.
It's my viewer. Yeah.
And that's the hardest thing, because sometimes we take a lot of ownership, because it does take effort. It does take a lot of work, and you have to be dedicated to putting content out and everything. And so, in a selfish way, we're like, well, I want to make what I want. But you can't have it both ways. You either make what you want and get very little views, or you do what your viewer wants and you provide value and you have a good thumbnail that is going to resonate with what they want, which means that in an instant they know what you're talking about, and you're hitting a pain point or a need or something that they want to learn that gets them to want to click and then watch it. That's how you can grow on YouTube. But you can't, it's too many people, and I still think people do this to this day, where they spend so much time putting the content together and they spend 5 minutes putting a thumbnail together.
I don't know how many people I've had reach out to me and they're like, I'm uploading this video right now. Can you take a look at this thumbnail? And I'm like, you're doing it after you filmed it? He was like, yeah. I just need to come up with a title. See, and that's the wrong way to do it.
Yeah.
You really need, see, what happens is this. If you create that thumbnail ahead of time and that title ahead of time, inadvertently, when you're filming that video, you're using the words that are in that title and thumbnail anyways. Yep. This last video I just put up on Tuesday, it's I was going to call it red flags in the housing market, so I went back and forth, but because I kept thinking red flags, I kept saying that in my video because that was my original title.
Yeah. But
I
you
was,
have better concept because you've been
yeah,
thinking about that, and so
right.
it flows so much better.
Right, right. Because you're thinking about like what is this title about? So what is it that you need to know? And then you end up saying those words that are in your title often, and that supports the title and the thumbnail, and all those things work together, and that all of those things end up being really good content.
Yep. Yeah.
I I concur.
It's and it seems like a lot, seems like what we're telling you is a lot, but really once if you really look at it and just understand what is it that is good at clicking, like what is going to get attention, and you're not really sure, where to go, that's why we did the course. So join the wait list, put your information in there, and when it's available, we'll put it out there. And like again, we're very excited about it, but we're one of those things where it's going to be well worth what you put into it, and hopefully so much so that it's 10 times the value than what you pay.
Well, I already know what it's going to be. I'm not even worried about it. As much effort as we just put into this, I'm not
Yeah,
not worried.
it's
Not
great.
worried.
It's great. I'm not
You're
worried
going to
either.
be worried. Nobody's gonna say it wasn't worth the money.
Yeah, they might be like, that was awesome, but now I feel like I got to join the course.
Yeah, and that's the whole point. That's exactly what we're doing. We want you to love that so much.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, anyways, we have a channel review.
we
Let's get
do.
into that, and we'll talk about
Yeah,
her thumbnails.
let's go to it.
All right, I'm gonna share this one. Share this tab instead. We're gonna put this on the screen. Share screen. All right, here we go. All right. Sharon Bobaron. Hey, have you noticed this thing going on? And like maybe it's just on my desktop, but you see this like blank space that's on here. This isn't on you, Sharon. This is on YouTube.
Let me
But
look.
like, is it just me?
It's just you. That's weird because mine doesn't do that.
Hmm.
That's interesting. Oh, were you zoomed in on your browser?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
That's why.
Now I'm zoomed out and see how it's off.
Yeah, I don't know. But when you zoom in to like 100%, does it show up right?
This is what it looks like.
That's weird. Yeah, mine doesn't look like that. But that might be because I'm not. Let me zoom out and see. No, mine still stays the same. That's really weird.
Yeah. This is on my desktop. That's a PC. Should have
Oh.
stuck with Apple. Apple.
It might be that.
All right.
Okay.
So we got our first one. It's 1206 East 18th Street video. And it's 2 minutes and 8 seconds. I'm assuming this is a walkthrough tour, Shannon. And if that's the case, whenever you're making a thumbnail for a walkthrough tour, you want a picture of the front of the house, and then you want the price of the house behind the skyline, roof line of that house, of the house itself, with the blue sky. That's it. Nothing more than that. So you want to show the outside of the house and the price. And then the title should be like look inside or first look or walkthrough tour. And then I wouldn't put the street address. What I would put is something that would make it interesting to the viewer.
Like must
the
see
address is not
kitchen
interesting.
or something like that.
Right.
An arrow pointing into one of the windows, something that creates like, oh, what's inside of that without saying inside.
Yeah, exactly. The top performing videos when it comes to walkthrough tours usually say inside or
this or
yeah. Yep. So that's
one
what
of
I would
the
go
one
ahead.
of the things that I'm seeing is it's kind of her channel kind of seems like it's a catch-all for like everything.
Yep, it is. She doesn't have a content strategy. That's what I would say.
She does have, so like this channel is old though. She's had it for like 13 years.
Right.
And it looks like she started out with like a video tour channel, and then it just kind of like went through, and now it's kind of some new construction, just kind of a modge podge of everything. And then it looks like she switched from like the touring to like more of like educational and then touring. And then even like this, why staging matters. It looks like maybe it was a TikTok or something, that because she filmed it vertically, but it's over a minute, so
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't show up on shorts. So so one of the things I for 100% would say is decide like what you want this to do. Like,
Right.
is this going to be a real estate channel? And what kind of real estate channel? If you're going to do home tours, it needs only to be home tours. If you're going to be doing educational, then it needs to only be educational. Like this is what we call spaghetti against the wall, where it's like everything is just chucked and we're hoping that something sticks.
Yep. Yep. And it looks like her most popular videos from 11 years ago, even 12 years ago, were her home tours.
Yep, the home tours.
Yep. And then it doesn't get to, and then she did a market update. But let's talk about this thumbnail for this market update. So earlier when Joe and I were talking, I said we had to simplify the message on the thumbnail itself. I learned that you have a ton of words that are literally impossible for the eye to see on that thumbnail. Now, I know that on other social media platforms, it's totally fine because they're scrolling, they have it very close to their face and they can see it much easier. For instance, like Instagram or even Pinterest, it's very easy to read those words. On YouTube, when people are looking on their phones,
not so much.
Not so much. They really, I mean, that image is very tiny. So you want some bulky, ugly, I know they're ugly, bulky lettering so they can see the word very easily. And I would never use that many words on a thumbnail. Like if you can say it in less than 3 words, that's fantastic. No more than 5 though. No more than 5.
So that thumbnail is actually the first frame of the video.
Gotcha.
So there's not even a thumbnail that's been uploaded. It's literally, it just picked the first frame, and because that's her background.
Oh, like, gotcha.
So don't do that.
Yeah. Spend that little time on your thumbnails.
The other thing too is, let's talk like with that, like, like the idea is, if you're going to, like, where you're walking around and pointing and talking, that stuff's all totally fine for a tour channel.
Yep.
But you need to decide. I mean, it looks like you're doing more tour stuff. So I would, if you're going to do that, just do that. Don't put any other content on this channel. And then exactly like what Christina says, is focus on your thumbnail to make it super simple and something that people would want to click on.
And I'm going to tell you this right now. If you're going to do home tours and you want to have a lot of traction with those home tours, you're going to have to make them a lot longer than 2 minutes long.
Yep.
People want to feel like they're actually walking through the house. And some of the most successful videos that I've seen on YouTube when it comes to home tour channels are the ones that do videos that are over 15 minutes. Some of them are 20 to 30 minutes long, but they are going in the attic. They're explaining, the insulation. They're showing behind the sinks. They are showing all the landscaping. They are giving you a full tour of that house, just like you were a buyer into the house. So
there's one here I want to share. It's it's not even by a real estate agent, but let me see if I can share it here. The channel is by an architect. Do you see that right there?
Mm-hmm.
So look at how simple that thumbnail is.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, it's just a picture of the house, and then they have inside, like what we were talking about, a mansion built on the edge of an abandoned quarry. Yep. And look, 4.5 million views 11 months ago.
Yep.
Like that right there is exactly what we were just talking about. We could look at a few others and see, and all I did is just home tours.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what we have here that aren't actual ads.
Sponsored.
Yeah, there's a bunch of sponsored ones.
If you guys ever want to learn how to tank a channel, just go ahead and sponsor your content. Sponsor your content.
Yeah, that'll kill it. Okay, here you go. Here's one right here.
Yeah, touring. Yeah, that's the other one. Touring and inside. Yep.
Yep. And see, you got a picture of the thumbnail or the home and then the price. And that's it. It's 42 minutes long too.
Yep. And the other one right underneath it is 31 minutes long.
Yeah. 2.2 million views 2 months ago. This one's 30 minutes and 2.2 million views 7 months ago. Inside interior design, touring, like these are the words that you like when we talk about patterns and stuff. These are the words that you should be writing down. But look, she didn't even do the front of the house. She liked the entryway way better, which I think is great. And you can see, oh, that's a pretty good thing. But she's also
the host,
and she's talking interior design. So she knows that the house, it's not real estate that she's trying to do. She's talking about the decor. So again, the thumbnail is towards the person that one is dedicated to the person that the viewer is, not
Can you
so
show
much.
that again? I want to point something out. So right underneath that, you see that says "My Better Home," and it's I don't know the language that they're speaking.
Looks like Hindi.
Yeah, that's what I was going to guess that, but I'm not 100% sure, so I didn't want to offend anybody. But I want to make it very clear, and this was something that we taught our students today. If you're making for a certain language, you have to follow what your avatar wants, and so that is going to resonate more with that language, with that specific avatar, with that culture. And that's what you should be doing if you have a channel that's like, let's just say German, right? You want to follow what German patterns are for thumbnails, not what it is in the United States, and expect to have buyers that are German. Exactly. Like, look at that. That is so much stuff on it. But it's got 1.7 million views.
Yep.
Because that's how they do their thumbnails. That is the culture. So.
Yep. And so again, knowing who you're making your videos for and the thumbnails like for that audience matters.
Yep. It all makes sense. It does. Let's go back to her. I gotta share this again. Present. We're not ignoring you, Shannon. We're not ignoring you, Shannon. Okay. So of course you're going to work on your thumbnails. If you're going to do home tours, you now know that they need to be a little bit longer. Let's just give it a little bit of a rundown. I don't mind your banner. Your channel banner is totally simplified. I would actually guess that this was a home tour channel just by looking at your banner. And I like your profile picture. That looks fantastic. All right, but let's talk about your about section. So your about section, the first thing that you talk about is yourself. And what you really want to talk about is what is the audience going to get from the content that they're watching. Because I hate to tell you this, and this is a hard pill for a lot of us to hear, but nobody cares about you. They really want to know what it's in it for them. So give them the reason to stay on this channel. What is in it for them? That's what you need to be putting here. Not about you, about them.
Yep. And I mean, if you want a little blurb down at the very bottom of that, that's fine. But really, they should know what they're getting out of it. And that goes with the whole channel in general. It should be about them. Like what can you do to help them out? What's the link? Is that just go to like their
Let's find out. Let's find out. It's loading. It is. Oh, okay. It's just it's probably like a KV Core type thing. Yeah, it's a broker website. Joe and I have found just by working with now many students and with my own channel that the best thing for you to do is to instead of bring it to your broker's website, what you want to do is create a landing page where they fill out a form telling you if they want to buy or sell. And what I put in the descriptions is looking for a real estate agent, click here. Or you could say, looking to speak with me, click here.
Yep.
And that way they fill out the form, and it gets them to do what you want them to do, which is get in contact with you so you can sell them a house. So make it really easy for them. This causes too much distraction. When you have when someone clicks on that, and let's just say they are trying to get a hold of you, like, I see that your name's there, but there's no contact information here.
They
And
have to
then
scroll down.
scroll, and it's all this other stuff that is very distracting. And then down here, you finally get to the part where they can fill it out.
Yep.
There's just too many things for them to click on here that will take them away from the thing that you really need them to do, which is contact you.
Yep. Just keep it extremely simple.
Yep.
You click on a link, the link opens up a page. That
Yep.
page has nothing else to do but either put your information in or leave. Those are the only two things that you need. And if you'll do that, your leads will increase.
I concur, Joe Eves. I concur.
Yeah. So I think we've given her some pretty good direction.
Yeah.
Obviously, the biggest thing is, decide what kind of content you want to make and then start and stick with it. The other thing is, if you're going to do stuff on YouTube and it's over a minute, make sure that you're filming it horizontal and not vertical, because it doesn't work. You have to be under a minute. But you look confused. Are we?
Well, because I'm looking at her playlists, and she has playlists that she has created for her own stuff, right?
Oh, kind of like her own, kind of like her own Pinterest board.
She's made it like a big Pinterest board. So whenever I want to do this, what you want to do is make these playlists unlisted. Yep. Because your music videos and your macro recipes and your swim drills have nothing to do with real estate.
Even though, I mean,
these are all different creators that have nothing to do with what you're doing. I honestly, I've never seen this before.
Yeah. Like literally just made her like her own YouTube Pinterest board.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that, but the idea hopefully is, if you're spending time putting this stuff together, you want to be getting leads from it. And in order to get leads, you need to get views. In order to get views, you got to do a good thumbnail. So
Yep, and have a little bit of content strategy.
Yep.
And if you really want to know more about making thumbnails, boy, do we got something for you.
Yes, we do.
We did this today. Thumbnails are important. There's no doubt about it. And I've learned my lessons, and I've put everything that I've learned into this course. There's no holds back. I mean, I've always been an open book. Yep. And this will take you down and give you everything you could possibly need about making and creating a very good thumbnail. And I will also walk you through what actually makes a very good thumbnail for your specific niche and your specific avatar. You'll learn exactly what that means and how to do it. So if you want to do it, here it is. The link is in the description. I'll just go ahead and put it in the chat one more time.
Yeah. Then one other thing, we do have a bonus training, and that bonus training is we've got an exclusive ChatGPT thumbnail designer 2.0 that actually spells words right. And again, we're not saying that you design everything with just AI, but like that bubble right there, AI made that, put all that stuff in there. And then obviously we added some other elements, but again, sometimes it's really hard to find exactly what you're looking for that element that you need to just really drive home the idea. And that's where the thumbnail designer really can make up anything through Dolly. And it's incredible, like the images that you can get, and incorporating them with best practices that we teach through the thumbnail designer is just, it's amazing. And that one is only offered to our students that sign up for this and or the coaching. But I do have a free version of Thumbnail Designer, the regular one that has over 1,000 users on. You can find it on ChatGPT store, or you can find it in the Malcolm and Christina's Facebook group.
Yeah, YouTube real estate.
Donna just signed up. We got some lurkers.
Got some lurkers. We love the lurkers. I want to show you guys something. This little thumbnail I made. I actually the bubble and the hammer came from the new chat
Thumbnail
GPT
designer.
that the
Mhm.
new thumbnail designer that you created, Joe. But all the background and the shards of glass and everything else, I created that. I
Right.
made all that. All of that was made by me.
And
So
and it's just nice to be able to have options now, right? Because if you were to
yep.
try to find those images, how long would that take you? You could have found them, but how
Mhm.
long would that have taken you, do you think?
Hours. Well, the bubble alone was the bubble alone was the problem. But even that little sign inside the bubble that says foreclosure, I put that in
Yeah, you
there.
photoshopped it in there, or
Yeah,
you
I photoshopped.
monkeyed it.
Yeah, I did pick monkey, and then I put like the grass underneath it. It would look weird, so I put grass in there. You know,
Yeah.
like the thing is that AI is a tool when it comes to thumbnails. It should not be creating your
It shouldn't
thumbnails
make
from
the
start
whole
to finish.
thing. And if it is,
Absolutely not.
stop doing it.
Yep. Yep. Stop doing it. Oh, if you, before we go, I want to give you a little thumbnail trick. So, like the thing about making thumbnails, a lot of times we're doing them in the middle of the night. So
Mhm.
I say make all your YouTube thumbnail pictures on one day. And the best color to wear when you're doing these is black.
Yep.
So if you ever notice, I'm always wearing black in all my thumbnails because it's really easy to fit
It
your
goes with
thumbnail.
everything.
It goes with everything. It just fits with everything. So just FYI, go ahead and make those images with a black top on. It makes it so much easier.
Yeah.
little trick for you, little FYI. So
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's some definite value just from the live stream that we've done. And
mhm.
obviously, as we release this, we'll let you guys know as soon as it's available. And again, we want you to succeed in YouTube. So if this is your goal, we don't hold anything back on. Matter of fact, once we're done with this, we're going to be replacing our other section or adding to the course because of what we've done here. Things have changed and we're updating it.
Yep. We're always updating that course. That is not one of those things that we filmed it once and that was the end of it.
Yeah.
No, it's always changing and we're always adding stuff to it. So, all right, everybody, we'll see you next Thursday. I will not be here, but Joe will. I will. I'll be in New York. So,
yep.
See a modular home company. So, all right, everybody. So long. Farewell. Avita Zane. Bye.